Yeah. Yesterday we discussed about access modifiers, public, private, protected, and now we are going to discuss about internal. Right. Are you getting my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sorry. Internal. If we declare a class or class member access modifier as internal, which can be accessed only within the project. If we declare a class or class member access modifier as internal, which can be accessed only within the project. So there will be some difference between public and internal, as well as you will have some confusion also. Public means public members you can access throughout the application, means all the projects, but internal member can be accessed only within that project. So if you want to know difference between these two, let me give you a small example, then you will get a clarity. So okay, so yesterday same example, right? You are staying in one gated community, Let us assume this gated community is a application. It is a application, and in this application we have a couple of towers. Let's say tower one, nothing but project one. Tower two, nothing but project two, and tower 3 is nothing but project 3, and flats classes C1, C2, C1, C2, C3, and Cn, K1, K2, K3, and Kn. Okay, right, M1, M2, M3, and Mn. So here we have discussed already yesterday. Total how many projects? Nivedita? Total
3 projects.
3 projects. So here projects, tower is a project. Let's say P1, P2, P3, and classes C1, C2, C3. These are all the classes. We have discussed yesterday. Like same story. It is a swimming pool. Swimming pool access pool. Swimming pool access modifier is public. Public means it can be accessed by who can access this?
All the classes in the application.
P1 classes, P2 classes, P3 classes means all the classes of the application can access this. But similarly, you have in tower 1, consider tower 1. In tower 1, we have some parking area. In tower 1, we have some parking area, internal parking area. Parking area. Tower 1 has a parking area. This parking area access modifier as internal. It is nothing but internal. So my question is, who can access this parking area?
C1 classes.
Access C1 people and C2 and only C3. And up to it can access only P1 people. P1 flats. Yes or no? Is it possible to access this parking area by P2, P3 people?
No.
No. That is the difference between internal and public. This is internal, this is public. I hope you are clear.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Clear? Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This parking area can access it by only project 1 classes. Okay, that is internal means we declare a class or class member access modifier as internal, which can be accessed by that project classes only. But if it is public, which can be accessed by all the project classes of the application. That is the difference. Okay, right. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now come back to like programmatically, right now we don't have that much difference because we can't show that much difference. The reason is uh, right now we are working with only single project. Right now we are working with single project, so you don't have much difference. Okay, but yeah, now you can see. Let me, even though single project also, let me show you the internal example. Internal internal example. Let's take class C1, take access modifier as internal. Internal method 1 is calling internal method 2. Within the method 2, can I access method 1?
Yes, sir.
You can access method 1. Within the method 2, you can access method 1. Why? You can access. Why? Because method 1 access modifier is internal. Internal people can access it by throughout all the project classes. Right. But how to access directly or with the help of object?
Directly.
Directly. Okay. Now method 2 is calling. Now come back to one more class. Class C2. Class C2. Let's say internal void show. Right. Within the show method, I want to call method 1. Can I?
Yes, sir.
Method 1. You can, because internal means you can access within the project. But how to access? Directly or by using object?
By using the object.
Object of which class?
C1.
C1 obj1 equal to new C1. C1 obj1 dot method 1. Method 1, just a simple message. Console dot write line. Console dot write line. Show is column. Console dot write line shows column. Okay, so come back to main method. Right, in main method, my question is in main method, I want to access method 1 and method 2. Can I access method 1 and method 2?
Yes, sir. Yes.
You can access because method 1 and method 2 both access modifiers are internal. Internal members can be accessed throughout the project. But how to access? We have to create
Object of C.
object for which class?
C1.
Can I use this object?
No.
No, because that object will be local to which method?
Show method.
Show method. Show method. Okay, right. Now C1. Can I give with the same name? Same name.
Yes, sir.
You can give also. No issues. Okay. But I'm giving with a different name. obj2 equal to new C1. C1 obj2 dot method 1 dot method 1 dot method 1 C1 obj2 sorry C1 obj2 dot method 1 C1 obj2 dot method 2. Okay, now I want to access show method. Now I want to access which method? Show method. Can I?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why? Because show access modifier is what? Internal. Internal members can be accessed
Within the project class.
for the project. Okay, yes. Right, now show method. You can access and how to access by using object or directly.
By using the object.
Object of which class?
C2.
C2 class. C2 class. Now C2 obj1 equal to new C2 C2 obj1 dot C2 obj1 dot C2 obj1 dot what is that?
Sure. Sure. So,
C2 obj1 dot show. Obj1 dot what is that? Show. Okay, right. Uh, right. That is the story about this one. Build the solution, and run the application. Build the solution and run the application. Right. Whenever you run this application, first this object will create. It will be calling a method called which method? Method one. Method one is calling, and after it is calling method two. Method two is calling again method one and method two. Finally, method one is calling, method two is calling, and after this, and this is creating second object and show method. This show method is calling again creating first C1 class object. Again method one is calling. Again show is calling. Okay. So final understanding is what we understood with all these things. Internal means internal members can be accessed within the
correct.
project. Difference between public and internal. Difference between public and internal. Public members can be accessed throughout the
Application.
application. Internal members can be accessed only within the
Correct. Project.
project. Next, between private and protected. Private and protected. Private members can be accessed only within the
Class.
protected members can be accessed
Within the class and the derived class.
current class and derived class. Current class and derived class. Okay, so that is the difference. Next, when we will go for private. Whenever we want to give accessibility only within the
Class.
single class. When we will go for protected, whenever we want to give accessibility within the current class and derived class. Next, when we will go for internal,
in the project.
Whenever you want correct project.
whenever we want to give the accessibility within the current project, only within the project. Next, when we will go for public,
Whenever you want to give
accessibility throughout the application. Throughout the application, we'll go for what? Public. Okay, right. Now, difference between public and what is that? Internal. That was Sundara. Tell me, difference between public and internal.
Private methods are accessible within the class
Hmm.
and protected are accessible within the class and its derivative.
Right class. Okay, right. Now Manasa, tell me, when we will go for private?
I missed yesterday class, sir, so I.
When we will go for private? When we will go for private? Madhuri. Right. Kumar, when we will go for private?
Whenever you want to access the members within the class.
Right. Kalyani, when we will go for protected?
we wanna have access in the current class and derived class.
Now, next, Indira, when we will go for internal?
We declare a class or class member as access modifier As internal, we can access internal modifier.
When we will declare a class member access modifier as internal, whenever we want to give accessibility within the project. Okay. Chandini, when we will go for public?
When we want to access throughout the application, so then we go for public.
Over the application, we'll go for public over. That is the story. So there is one more concept that is called default access modifiers. Default access modifiers. So coming to default access modifiers. Default access modifier means whenever you define a class, whenever you are defining a class, you are not writing any access modifier. Whenever you are defining a class, you are not writing any access modifier. If you didn't write any access modifier, you can observe here you can write some access modifier according to the syntax. But you didn't use any access modifier. Here the point is, if you didn't write any access modifier, by default it will take as what access modifier. That is called default. Okay. So as well as method also, let's say I didn't write anything. If I didn't write anything in method, which access modifier it will come for method. And as well as you can observe, yeah, when you are declaring class level variables, like int a, you are telling instance variable. So actually you wouldn't use any access modifier, even though it will take some access modifier. What is the access modifier? Default access.
Public.
And we are defining constructor. For example, I didn't take any access modifier for constructor. Let us assume. So what is the default? So here we need to understand what is the default access modifier of a class and what is the default access modifier of a variable, constructor and method and so on. This we need to understand. You need to understand.
Default public.
So first question is interview question. It is default. What is the default access modifier of Girish? Default access modifier of public. What is the default access? I'm sorry. What is the default access modifier of class? What is the default access?
Public.
Right, that we have to think now. You check it. Yeah. So first of all, you are able to access class within the main method. C1 class, are you able to access or not?
Yes.
C1 class, are you able to access in main method? Because main method is not part of C1 class. Main method is part of program class. Means whenever you are able to access a class outside the class means first you need to remember the default access modifier is not private.
It is not protected.
Listen, not private. First case, you come in the low level. It is not private. If it is private, you cannot access within the
Class.
within the other class. Within the other class, you are able to access means it is not
Private.
Not private.
the default access modifier is not private. And as well as your program class is not a derived class of
C1.
Class.
C1. Even though you are able to access means it is not,
Protected.
you come like that, it is not protected. It is not protected. And we forgot to discuss one more thing, protected internal. I forgot to tell you. Protected internal access modifier now we can't understand because it is related to multiple projects. It is not related to one project which can be accessed in the current project and derived classes of other projects within the application. That is the reason that we will discuss once we will start working with multiple projects. So up to that just 4 access modifiers. Okay. Now come back to our discussion. It is default access modifier of a class is not private, not protected. then think what it can be what? Two more choices, either internal or public.
Public.
Hmm. Generally, public they will not give. If they will give public, the class will be available throughout the application. Unnecessary. So instead of giving like that, but okay, they will give you. There is no restriction. That's why they have given default access modifier of a class is actually internal. What is that? What is that? Internal. If you
Internal.
have a doubt now, we can't check because the reason is why we can't check now because we are working with single project. Okay, so that is the story. So what is the default access modifier of a class?
Internal.
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 That's why we are not required to write also because you are accessing class till the time only within the project. That's why you are not writing any access modifier, directly class name. Second is what is the default access modifier of what is the default access modifier of class member, maybe class level variable means what? Instance variable or static variable, whatever it is. Right now A I declared in C1 class. A I declared in C1 class. But I didn't use any access modifier. Then what is the default access modifier? Let's say I'll take one more class C2. Class C2. In C2 class, I'm defining one method, void show. In show method, I'm trying to access A. A. Is it coming? Not coming. Immediately we'll get it out. How it will come, sir? You need to create what object? I will agree with you. C1 obj equal to new C1. Object is created because A is the instance variable. So obj dot obj dot C1 obj equal to new C1 of C1 obj equal to new C1 now. Even though here also you are getting some error observed.
Yeah.
Here also LHS is not giving any error, but RHS is giving error when you are creating object. Check 2 minutes what is the reason behind the error.
Can you show the C1 class again?
Yeah, C1 class, you see. I will forward to you also. C1 class. 1 minute, guys. I'm I'm sending that through chat. Chat now received all of you.
Because we are calling the constructor instance constructor without the access modifier.
So what is happening, one shot, two birds like that. You can observe. You are trying for a variable, but you are not even though getting information about even the constructor also. You can observe. Here, C1 obj means you are only accessing what class. You are accessing only class. So C1 class you are able to access. The reason is what? Default access modifier of a class is internal. Try to understand. So I will give a high priority for a student to give the best subject. I will not compromise. You people also should be like that. You should utilize it. If you will not utilize, it's a big loss for me and for you, both of us. Okay. Yeah, my attitude is like that. Even in Hyderabad also, in classroom sessions also, I will give the best to the student. Sometimes people will wait for my batch 3-4 months. They will pay the fee and they will wait. Even though in between 100 sessions will start also, they will not join. Okay, right. But you have to utilize, even though here or there. Now you can see RHS is giving error. RHS means what? New is creating object. Okay, and even though it's giving error because of this one, because you are trying to call what constructor here. You're trying to call what? Constructor here. But actually constructor, did you written any access modifier here?
No.
No access modifier. There is no access modifier. So whenever there is no access modifier, I think it will come into the picture default. The default, what is the default access modifier? We don't know. But according to this, we are identified that even class constructor we are unable to access within the which class?
Outside of the other class.
C2 class. C2 class. Whenever it is the concerned class member, you are unable to access in other class means
Protected.
what? See,
Private.
means a very simple reason. Means is what? What is the meaning of that is? Some default access modifier is restricting. What is that default access modifier? Can be provide, can be protected. Can be provided or can be protected. In this case, we'll do one thing. C2 colon C1. C2 colon C1. See, we had a doubt now. Either it can be protected or private. Now C2 colon C1. C2 colon C1 means if it is protected, it should not give what? Error. Even though it is giving error, even though C2 colon C1 means no doubt it is
Private.
private. Clear? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Clear. So now we are okay with this. So I changed it as at present for some time internal because we need to access that variable called A. Now no error.
But the static constructor don't need access modifier.
Yeah, that is different. Forget. Then this correct and put picture lucky. I will raise the question. Next question that only. Wait. Okay? Yeah. Don't interrupt here. If you will bring static constructor here in this discussion, you will get a doubt. You will get confusion. Whatever clarity I am giving, it will disturb like anything. Wait. It will come into the picture. Don't worry. Right. Story.
Can you explain, sir, one more time?
Sorry.
I miss a point. Can you explain one more time
Very simple.
this question why we couldn't access? I missed one point.
Listen. Very simple. Your class is having a, we need to understand about this. What is the default access modifier of a variable? So to understand this, we went with this case study. That case study is A we declared, but we didn't write any access modifier here. So which will come as a default. We need to understand. That's why I defined one more class called C2. In C2 class, I defined a method called show. Here I am trying to access A. A is a member of what? C1. So if you want to access A, first you need to create object plus C1 some obj equal to new C1 okay. So when we are trying we are searching for actually pen, but we are identified a diamond ring now. You observe this. Right. This is a diamond ring now. Constructor is showing what error. Here RHS is giving error. LHS is not giving error. First we need to analyze why LHS is not giving error. In LHS we are accessing what? Class. We are accessing class. Class default access modifier is what?
Internal.
Class default access modifier is internal. That is the reason here internal members you can access. That's why no error. Exam is passed here. In RHS you are trying to access what? Constructor. For constructor you didn't write any access modifier. So somebody are restricted. That somebody are what we don't know. It can be you are unable to access in the other class. A class member means maybe private, maybe protected. So because now we had a doubt about protected, maybe default access modifier is a protected. If you have a doubt about that, simply to clear the doubt, you write C1. You write it as what? C1. When you write it as C1, even though it is giving error means it is not It is not protected. If it is protected, protected members can be accessed within the derived class also, right?
Class.
Derived class
Yes,
also.
sir.
So even though you made it as a derived class, even though you are unable to access the C1 class constructor, means the constructor default access modifier is not protected. Means no
Yes,
doubt,
sir.
no doubt it is private. Default access modifier of a constructor is private. That is clear. Now that's why simply I am writing what internal. Internal means you don't have any error. Now error 1. Now you try to access a C1 dot A. Are you getting A? A you are getting?
No.
No, not getting.
No.
No means you are restricting default access modifier. Maybe private, maybe protected. Again for this also we'll try C1 C1 dot A
No,
No.
dot A. Coming or not coming?
not coming.
Not coming.
C1 dot A not coming. C1 dot A not coming. Not coming. Okay. C1 dot A not coming means this default access modifier is not not protected. Not protected. Not protected. Remove this. Remove this. Not protected. Remove this. Right. Right. Are you understanding? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, yeah. Now, are you clear? Huh? Right. Next to, no doubt, if it is not protected, no doubt it is nothing but what?
Private.
Private. So we understood default access modifier of a variable and constructor will be.
Private.
Now take method. What about method? Obj dot method 1. Are you getting?
No.
Getting? No, not getting. Not getting means what? Maybe
Private.
protected, maybe private. Now C2 colon
C1.
C1
C1.
obj dot getting, not getting, not getting,
No.
not getting. Not getting means it is not a
Private.
protected.
Protected.
It is not a product. If it is not a protected, it is a
Private.
default access modifier of a variable, constructor, and method will be.
Private.
Final conclusion is default access modifier of a any class member is
Private.
not only variable, not only method. Class member is what?
Private.
Is private. Is private. Default access modifier of a class member is private. Okay, now so that is the story about this. Everybody are clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. Next to come back to our discussion. Any more? Yeah. Now we had a doubt. The doubt is why static constructor is not having access modifier. We have written that day one point. Static constructor should not have an access modifier. Reason. Now you analyze. Yeah. So did we one more thing before that we have discussed 2 points. Static constructor cannot contain a parameter and access modifier. But why static constructor cannot contain a parameter? Because static constructor doesn't require
During
not
class
required
loading.
parameter. Not required parameter. Why? Because it is not a dynamic value. It is a static value, already known value. You can initialize directly. For that you don't require what? Parameter. Similarly, the second question is why static constructor is not having access modifier? Reason.
It is called when the class is loading. That's why we don't need to access from any other outside.
Because the reason is it is also not required. Not required. Why it is also not required? Why it is also not required means, see, instance constructor means you are calling. Instance constructor you are calling. When you are calling, whenever you are creating a object, you are calling C1 obj equal to new C1. You are calling from outside. You require to call from outside. Whenever you want to access the concerned class instance members, you need to create object for concerned class. At the time of creating object, you are calling. That's why it is required some access modifiers. But are you calling anywhere static constructor by the programmer?
No, sir.
Static constructor is not going to call by the programmer explicitly. It will call implicitly when the class is loading. It is calling implicitly when the class is loading. It is calling implicitly when the class is loading. It doesn't require any calling mechanism by the programmer. Whenever you are not calling from outside of the class or anywhere, why you require access modifier? Did you understand?
Yes.
It is, you are not calling anywhere because there is no calling mechanism. Programmer doesn't have any chance to call static constructor. It will call automatically at the time of class is loading. Whenever programmer is not required to access, whenever programmer is not required to access, why you need access modifier? Okay, na?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why by default static constructor will also have a access modifier called private. Again, you don't require to write anything. So they have given a rule. Don't declare any access modifier for which constructor?
Static.
Static constructor. That is the story about this. So this is the story. Next to one more discussion is that is default values. Default values. Whenever you are creating object, ENO, default value is what?
0.
ENAME,
Null.
default value is what?
Null.
String. ESAR, default value is what?
0.
0. So we need to understand how, what are the default values of a class level variable. Default values of a class level variables will be, we will see one by one. We will see one by one. We'll take one method. Internal will finalize now. Void. Okay, here, yeah, we'll print values like this. Into A. Into A means what variable? Numerical variable. Which variable?
Numerical.
Numerical variable. What is the default value of the numerical data type variable is?
0.
Is
0.
0.
Yeah, we'll see one. We'll confirm now. One by one is what? Okay.
We didn't have A in the method one.
Yeah, within the method one, we didn't write A. Method one we are calling. Now you see default value of the variable is what? Numerical data type variable is what? 0. Now that is okay. Next to what is the default variable data type of the floating point data types? Floating point data types also actually what?
0.
What is that? Default double. So you take double and you check this compilation and execution, and that is also what? 0. That is also what? 0. Okay, now we need to understand the default data type of default value of the string A. String A.
Null.
String A.
Null.
Null. Null means nothing. Don't expect that null will print. Okay, nothing. And now next to think about char.
Null.
Char. Default value of the char. Char is also null. That is also nothing. Null means nothing. And now let's identify the default value of the bool. Bool.
False.
Bool is what? Bool is what? False. False. Okay. That is false. Okay. Right. Next to default value of object. Object.
Null.
Null. Okay. So that is the story. Finally, we understood default value of the numeric data type. Floating point data type is 0. Default value of the string char object is null, and uh, default value of the
False.
False.
bool is false. That is the story about default values. Okay, right? Now let's enter into next concept, that is passing parameter mechanism. So next concept is passing parameter mechanism. Yeah. Okay, some children noise is coming. From where it is coming, I'm unable to understand. Just mute yourself. Passing parameter mechanism. Passing parameter mechanism. Right. So what is this passing parameter mechanism? Passing a value to a function is called as passing parameter mechanism. Passing a value to a function is called passing parameter mechanism. Next, how to pass a value to a function. How to pass a value to a function. What is the answer? How to pass a value to a function? Answer is
Which variable?
Local variable.
with
The
the
signature.
help of parameter. With the help of parameter. And parameters are how many types? How many type? What is a
Two types.
parameter? First of all, what is a parameter?
Parameter
Variable.
and parameter.
Parameter. What
The
is a
signature.
parameter? A variable which is declared within the method signature is called
Parameter.
parameter.
Para-
A variable which is declared within the method signature is parameter. How many types of parameters
Two.
we have?
Parameter and parameterless.
How many types of
Parameter.
parameters we have? Answer is how many types? Two types.
Two types.
Two types.
Parameter and parameter.
They are, how many types of parameters are there? Two types. Now tell me how many types? Two types. Prithvi, tell me what are they?
Parameterized parameters and non-parameters.
No. My
Value
question is, my question is types of parameters.
Value type.
Two types.
Value type and difference type.
type and
Value types and different. Sorry.
Somewhere. Okay. Tell me guys, how many types of
Value
parameters?
types and referent types.
No. Next, Nivedita, how many types of parameters we have?
value type and reference type.
No. Types of parameters. I think in the beginning of oops, I have given the introduction about this. I'm not sure. Parameters are two types. One is actual parameters. Number two is formal parameters. Number one is actual parameters. Number two is formal parameters. So now we need to understand about actual parameters and formal parameters. What do you mean by formal parameters? Shekhar, are you there?
Just like a reference.
Shekhar, are you attending interviews? Right. What do you mean by formal parameters? Shekhar, are you there? Can you talk? Right. What do you mean by formal parameters? Yeah. Shekhar, you have already taken training, right, from employer? Next, what do you
Formal
mean by
calling function.
1 minute actual parameter? First, to understand this concept, we need to understand about this one only, formal parameter and actual parameter. Yes. What do you mean by formal parameter and what do you mean by actual parameter? Formal parameter and actual parameter, right? Parameters are two types. One is actual parameter, other one is formal parameter. Formal parameter and actual parameter. So if you want to understand this, you need to understand two things. Number one, calling function and called function. I am calling you. I am the calling person. You are the called person. Similarly, you can observe here. Here you define a method called method 1. Here you are calling a method called method 1. Among these two, this is calling function. This is calling function. Here this statement, here it is called calling. This function is calling this method. Which method? Method 1. This is called function. Called. This is called by this one. So calling function, called function. With this method definition is a called function. Method call is a calling function. Method call is a calling function. Method definition is a
Called function.
called function. Here, come back to our discussion. We need to understand about formal parameter and actual parameter. Right. What do you mean by formal parameter and what do you mean by actual parameter?
Formal is a called function. And, formal is a
Calling function.
calling function and
Actual parameter. Calling function parameters are actual
actual parameters.
parameter. Calling function parameters are actual parameters. Called function parameters are formal parameters. Called function parameters are formal parameters. Okay, calling function. Try to understand what is a parameter. A variable which is declared within the method signature is a parameter. Parameters are two types, actual and formal. What do you mean by formal parameter? What do you mean by actual? Function call, nothing but calling function parameters are actual parameters. Called function parameters are formal parameters. Right. Okay. You go through these 2-3 times, all of you, whatever it is there in front of you. Number one, actual parameter.
Formal parameter and
Formal
actual
parameter.
parameter.
What do you mean by formal parameters? What do you mean by actual parameters? Actual parameters are calling function parameters and formal parameters are formal parameters.
Called function parameters.
What is that?
If we declare some variables while in parameterized method, so they are called as calling function parameters.
Just listen. Observe this. Yeah. Method 1 into A. Console.writeLine. console.writeLine. A value is A value is A. Now method 1, if you want to pass, you need to pass one value. Int x equal to 10. Again
Yeah.
x. Okay. Here x is a parameter, A is also a parameter. A is a parameter, x is a parameter. But which is, first of all, you need to recognize. It is what function? Calling or called?
Calling function.
Calling. X is
Calling.
parameter.
Formal construction.
Actual parameter.
X is a actual parameter. Calling function parameters are actual. Okay. Now, yeah, this is a called function. Called function. A is what parameter?
Formal parameter.
Formal
Formal
parameter.
parameter. Right. I hope you are clear about this.
Yes.
Or else you need one more example. Right. Now, internal, wherever children noise is there, better to you mute yourself. Why you are unnecessarily getting unmute? What is the use of unmute unless you're disturbing the others? Right. Internal, whenever you are talking, you can unmute. Full keeping unmute, there is no use. Internal, void, add, into A, comma, into B, into A, comma, into B. Now you see, you define one method. What is the method? Add, and into C equal to A plus B, console dot writeLine, and result is C. And result is C. Right, coming to here, yes, into X equal to 10, into otherwise, into num1 equal to 10, into num2 equal to 20. Num1 equal to 10, num2 equal to 20. Num2 equal to 20. Now you see obj dot add of num1 comma num2, num1 comma num2, num1 comma num2. Num1 is 10, num2 is 20. Num1 is passed to A, num2 is passed to B. Now here you see, here A and B are parameters and num1 and num2 also parameters. But what about C?
Local variable.
Just local variable. Just local variable. That is the difference between first parameter and normal variable. But even the parameters are what variables?
Local variable.
Local variables. What is a variable which is declared within method signature is called parameter, and it is nothing but parameter plus local variable. A variable which is declared within the method block, just method block, is a local variable. Okay. And num1 and num2 are what parameters?
Actual parameter.
A and B are?
Formal parameter.
A and B are formal parameters. A and B are what parameters? Formal parameters. Okay, na? Right. So that is the story about this. Okay, guys. Understood about actual parameter and formal parameter?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we need to understand the remaining concept. Remaining concept is what we have to see. C#.NET will support passing parameter mechanism in 3 ways. C#.NET will support passing parameter mechanism in 3 ways. Number 1, call by value or pass by value. Number 2, call by reference or pass by reference. Number 1, call by reference, call by value, call by reference. Number 2, pass by value, pass by reference. Number 3, call by out or pass by out. Okay, so now coming to call by value. What is this call by value? Whenever formal parameter is modified in call by value, formal parameter modifications will not be reflected on actual parameters. Formal parameter modification will not be reflected on actual parameters. That is call by value. In call by value, formal parameters modifications will not be reflected on actual parameter. In call by value, while passing the parameter, we will pass actual value. We'll pass just actual value due to the reason. In call by value, while passing the parameter, we will pass just actual value. Will not pass the address. Will pass actual with the help of with parameter. Will pass just value. That is the reason formal parameter modifications will not be reflected on actual parameters. That is call by value. That is what is that? Call by value. Okay, right. Next to yes. That is a story about a concept called what? Call by value. Next to what is next thing is yeah. Come back to call by. Let's see one small example is the call by value. Example for call by. So what is happening in call by value? Yes, what is happening in call by value? Bhaskar, what is happening in call by value?
Directly to value.
It passing parameters to calling function.
No, first here, first line. Formal parameter.
Modification will not reflect on actual parameters.
And why it is happening? Because actually you are passing with the help of parameter. What you are passing?
Actual parameters.
Actual value. You are passing just actual value. You are passing the value. In reference, you will pass the address of the value. That is the difference. That will come in next level. Now class. Now example for call by value example. Call by value example. Class student. The example is class student. Here you can see internal void cal fee double internal void cal fee double tote fee. Yes, you can answer. And right, tote fee double admission fee equal to 1,000, double sem fee equal to 1,500, right? And tote fee equal to tote fee plus admission fee plus sem fee. Console dot write line total fee is total fee is total fee. Total fee is total fee. Console.writeline total fee is total fee. Now calling this method from the main method, you observe student obj equal to new student, student obj equal to new student, double fee, double initial fee equal to 500. Obj dot cal fee, that is initial fee, console dot write line initial fee, console dot write line initial fee. Okay, now semicolon. Now you guys, you can observe here. First of all, try to understand, is it calling function or called function?
Called function.
Called function.
Huh? Called up.
Called function.
Called function.
Called function.
Call function.
This is
Calling
Call-
function.
Calling function.
this parameter is what parameter? Actual or formula?
Formal.
Formal.
This
Formal.
Actual.
actual. This is what? Actual. Okay, right. Now, you know what happened? Observe this program. What is happening? So in call by value, what will happen? Formal parameter modifications will be reflected on actual parameter or will not be?
Will not.
Will not be. So this code you keep with you. Class student, open your Visual Studio always. Right, I'm just forwarding to you through chat. Just keep with you. Class student class code you copy paste into your system and make visible. And I will display main method code. Then it is easy to us to understand. Now what is happening in this regard? What is happening? Whenever you run this application, what is happening? You try to understand. What is happening? You try to understand. Okay, so main method is execution started in this first here new object creation. All these things also not matter for us right now. On behalf of main method, memory is allocated for one variable. On behalf of main method, memory is allocated for one variable. What is that variable name?
Two variables, obj and initial fee.
Yeah, obj is also, but we are just not considering. We are concentration on only parameters now. Formal parameter and actual parameter. Okay. Now initial fee. What is the initial fee value?
500.
Now here initial fee is a what parameter?
Actual parameter.
Actual parameter.
Actual parameter. Right. And here you are calling the method. While calling the method, you are passing a value called
500.
and it is calling a method. What is that method name?
Cal fee.
Cal fee. On behalf of cal fee method, this value is passing to that parameter. What is the parameter name?
Total fee.
Total fee. Total fee is what parameter?
Formal.
Formal parameter.
Total fee is formal parameter. Total fee is formal parameter. Total fee is what parameter? Formal parameter. Okay. So in that what happened? It is you are passing a value. 500 will be passed to this parameter. After that, in that method, you have another variables, local variables. First one is
Admin
admission fee. How much admission fee?
1,000.
1,000. Second,
SEM fee.
SEM fee. SEM fee how much?
1,500.
1,500. Next code is what? Next code.
Code fee.
Adding
Code
of
fee is equals to code fee plus admin fee plus
Road fee
semester.
plus road fee plus SEM fee
Admin
plus
fee,
admission. Road fee is how much? 500. 500 plus
Admin
1,000.
fee 1,000.
1,000
Plus
1,500.
1,500. Total value
3,000.
3,000. 3,000 will be assigned to which variable?
Code fee.
Total fee. 3,000 means formal parameter is modified or not modified?
Modified.
Because first value is 500 and now value is what? 3,000. Modified. Modified. You remember it's modified. And it's printing some output called total fee is how much?
3,000.
3,000.
Since control is encountered the closing brace of that method, the method execution is completed. All the local variables will be
Destroyed.
and control will come back and will execute a statement. Console.write initial fee is
500.
500.
formal parameter modifications are reflected to actual parameter or not reflected.
Not
Not
reflected.
reflected.
Because this is a concept called
Call by value.
call by value. It is a concept called call by value. Okay, now come back to next level. Next level concept is call by reference. Call by reference means what exactly? Call by reference means when formal parameter modifications are modified, the modifications will be reflected on actual parameters. In call by reference, formal parameter modifications will be reflected on actual parameters. Second important point is in call by reference while passing parameter and while catching parameter while passing parameter and catching parameter we should prefix with the ref keyword. We should prefix with which keyword? Ref keyword. While passing the parameter and while catching the parameter, we should prefix with the ref keyword. Ref. Okay, next, yeah, that's it. That is the story about what ref keyword. And one more important point, ref parameter should be initialized with some value because it is what variable? Local variable. The third point, if you want to understand, let me show you something. In this program only, for example, I didn't initialize like this. Any problem?
No. Because default value is 0.
No. Default values will be there for only class level variables. For local variables, you don't have any default value. Now you are getting some error. Why you are getting error? Because local variables, one rule is there. That rule is before accessing the variable, compulsory it should be initialized with some
Value.
otherwise compiler will generate an
Error.
local variable rule is even though if you will remove this statement also, you see you will get one error. You will get one error. What is that error? Use of
Unassigned variable.
local variable. Use of unassigned local variable. Here the rule about local variable is local variable should be initialized with some value before accessing.
Even though if you remove, if you didn't call this method, all these things, I'll show you in the other way. Into a console dot write line of a. It will also throw same error. Use of unassigned local variable called what? A. With this we understood that local variable should be initialized with some value before accessing. Here you are accessing. Before this statement, it should be initialized with some value. At least you can initialize with 0 also, no problem. You can see no issues. Now also no issues. 0 will print. Okay, that is a rule. Suppose you didn't initialize here. You didn't initialize here. You initialized here. Error will be there or no error?
Error.
Error will be there. Why error will be there? Because you are initializing after accessing. After accessing you are initializing. That's why it will give what? Error. Okay, so we should be initialized with some value before accessing. Suppose you didn't access. Now any error?
No.
Now do you get any error? No error. You will not get any error because you are not accessing. You are not accessing. That's why you will not get any error. That is the story about this one. So according to this rule, yeah, right. Call by value parameter and call by ref parameter. Both parameters should be initialized with some value. Should be initialized with some value before accessing. Before accessing means before passing that parameter, the parameter should be initialized with some value. So formal parameter modifications will be reflected on actual parameters. Formal, in case of call by reference, formal parameter modifications will be reflected on actual parameters. In call by reference, while passing the parameter and while catching the parameter, we should prefix with ref keyword. Ref parameter should be initialized with some value because it is local variable. So these are all the rules we have, and that is a story about call by reference. Okay, in call by reference, actual important point is in call by reference with parameter we are passing the address of value. In call by reference with parameter we are passing the address of the value. In call by reference with parameter we are passing the address of the value. Address of the value we are passing. Okay, what is that? We'll see now. Right, same story, same to same. Now you observe. Now you can observe. Right, same method. Just to performing the calculation of total fee in this method, and you observe student obj equal to new student and double fee equal to 500. Initially you paid only 500. Okay, then you passed obj dot cal fee of fee over. But while passing the parameter, you were prefixed with a keyword called ref. Here also it should be prefixed with ref. That's why while passing the parameter and while catching the parameter, it should prefix with the ref keyword. Right now you can see console dot write line total fee is fee. Total fee is fee. Total fee is what? Fee and console dot read line. You can observe. Here, this is what function? Calling function. This is what function? Called function. Here, fee is what parameter?
Actual
parameter.
Total fee is what parameter?
Formal parameter.
Formal parameter. Now I am passing this student class to all the people. Just in your systems, you people can paste the code. Right now, yeah. Right. Got it, all of you? Copy paste the code. Yeah.
Yes.
Now we will do the tracing. What will happen in call by reference? While passing the parameter, we will pass the address of the value. That is most important point. That is happening only because of which keyword? The ref keyword. REF. It is similar like a pointer concept. Pointers concept. Okay.
Address.
Yeah, address. It is passing the address. Now, and then another thing is formal parameter modifications will be
effect in the
Reflected to the actual parameter.
You can observe this code. I am tracing now. Now also we are not considering objects, only local variables. Sorry, we are going to see now. You see. Now, yes, you observe this. Right. Yeah. And main method execution is started. I'm sure here I am writing main method. On behalf of main method, one variable is created. That variable name is fee. Right. Main method code is in front of you only, Pramoda. You can see that code. Fee. Okay. Now, right. Now you can observe. The fee is 1 minute. Right. This is main method code. Main method. In main method, you can observe one variable is created. The variable name is fee. Fee is pointing to some address. Actually, 500 is allocated in some memory location. That memory location address is 1010. 1010 is address of 500. So finally, fee variable contain 500. Sorry, fee variable contain what? 500
1010. Address.
Address. What is that address?
1010.
1010. It is having address, not 500. Because fee is what parameter?
Reference parameter.
Parameter. That's why it is not having the value here. 500 is the value. 500 is the value. 1010 is the address. It contain address 1010. Now after this, control is executing this statement. That is obj dot cal fee of ref of fee. It is passing not actual value. It is passing address of the value. And in this case, it is invoking a method called cal fee. It is invoking a method called cal fee. In cal fee method, what is happening? Variables. At the time of your passing, actually there we have declared that parameter is what parameter? Total fee. Parameter name.
Total fee.
But here it will not pass the actual value. It will pass address. Address is passing. What is address?
1010.
So this ref parameter is also pointing to the same memory location. Same memory location which contain a value called 500 is pointing by how many variables?
2 variables.
2.
Why these variables are holding the address of the value? Because both are ref variables. Both are ref parameters or ref variables. After that, yeah, you have 2 more variables. First variable is admission fee. Admission fee, how much value?
1000.
1000. Next one?
Some fee.
Sem fee, how much value?
1500.
1500. Again, method will execute. That is total fee plus admission fee plus how much? SEM fee. So total fee.
3,000.
Total fee is pointing to this memory location. So that value will come under how much?
500.
And 1,000 plus how much?
15.
Total how much value?
3,000.
The 3,000 will be 3,000 will be the 3,000 will be what? The 3,000 will be, come on,
Stored in 1010.
like the 3,000 will be assigning into
Replacing
variable called
only.
which variable?
Reference.
Total fee. Total fee is what variable? Reference variable. That's why it will be reflected in the memory location where exactly it is pointing. So that will be how much? 3,000 will be changed here. 3,000 will be changed in the memory location where exactly it is pointing. So you can observe formal parameter modification will be reflected on
Actual parameter.
actual parameter. Reason is both parameters are pointing to the same memory location. Both parameters are pointing to the same memory location. Both are sharing the address because of ref. Okay, now the method execution is completed and these local variables are destroyed and console.writeLine output is total fee is fee. Fee will print how much?
3,000.
3,000. Finally, we understood in this concept formal parameter is modified. That modifications are reflected within the
Actual parameter.
actual parameter. Okay. Right. Next concept is call by out. Next concept is call by out. Call by out and pass by out. Same as call by reference, but only one difference is means formal parameter modifications will be reflected and actual parameter everything will be same. While passing the parameter, it will also pass the address of the parameter. But only one difference is while passing and catching, it will use out keyword. It will use which keyword? Out keyword. While passing and catching, it will use out keyword. While passing the parameter and while catching the parameter, it will use out keyword. And the second important point is out parameter is not required to initialize. Out parameter is not required to initialize. If we initialize also, CLR will ignores that value. If we initialize also, CLR will ignores that value. While passing and catching, it will use out keyword. Out parameter is not required to initialize. If we initialize also, CLR will ignore that value. That is call by out. You can see the example in call by out. Right, you can see here we need to use out keyword. Out. Here not required to initialize any value. Initial fees I didn't pay anything. And it is out. That's it. You didn't pay anything. So total fees fee. You can observe. Okay. Now you can observe. Right. Out fee. Here also out. And here not required here this statement because doesn't have any value. Just modifying. Now I am passing this code to you all the people. Class student code I am passing. I'm sending through chat. You can check. And I am sending main method code also. I'm sending main method code also. Right. Now you can observe how this code is executing. You can observe, guys. Right, you can run, you can see, yeah. Right, you can observe. Same story. Now I am just executing the program. Main method is called. On behalf of main method, one variable is created. That variable name is fee. Fee is pointing to one memory location. The memory location will allocate the memory of how many bytes? Double variable.
8 bytes.
8 bytes memory. Because here you will get a doubt. No value now. What will happen, sir? And nothing will happen. It will point to a memory location which is having 8 bytes. No value, nothing. Now fee variable is having address. Your address is what?
1010.
That our memory location address is 1010. And it is a out parameter. Generally, whenever you declared a variable like this, whenever you didn't initialize a value for a variable and you are accessing that variable as a parameter or xyz, immediately here it will throw what? Error. But that error is not coming because of which parameter? Out parameter. Out parameter doesn't expect initialize with any value. That exemption is giving by out. Out is giving that exemption. Obj.cal fee of out of fee means out fee means cal fee method is calling here. According to cal fee method, first there is a parameter, out parameter. What is that parameter? Total fee. Total fee. For total fee parameter, it is passing a value address. What is the address? 1010. This parameter is also holding the same memory location. Both parameters are pointing to the same memory location. Next, admission fee, one variable. How much value? 1000. 1000. Fee, another variable. How much value?
1500.
1500. 1000 and 1500 will be stored into, you have written a statement. The code is total fee equal to admission fee plus what fee? Sem fee. Admission fee is what? 1000 plus sem fee is how much?
1500.
Total value is how much?
2500.
2500 will be reflected into this memory location. Now formal parameter is modified, but initially it doesn't have any value. Now it is changing value. It is reflected on actual parameter because of a keyword called out. And the control will come back from that cal fee method. Cal fee method local variables will be destroyed and console.writeLine total fee is fee. How much fee? 2500. Formal parameter modification will be reflected on
Actual parameter.
actual parameter. That's it. That is the story. Next, come back to differences between call by value, call by ref, and call by out. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can we use more than one out parameters in single call?
Can we?
More than one out parameter?
Yeah, you can use n number of parameters.
So if we want to return two values, can we do that by using two?
Yeah. See, whatever modifications you are doing there, it will reflect in the. You are not returning. Return different. It's reflecting, not returning. That is not called returning. Okay. N number of parameters you can use. Call by reference, call by value, call by reference, call by out. So totally there are three concepts here. Differences is now you can see first point is what? First point
Passing the value.
modifications will be reflected. And will not be
reflected.
Will not reflected. Will be
Reflected.
Will be reflected. And here
Will be reflected.
will be reflected. will be reflected. And coming to second point. Second point is what?
Actual value.
Value
Passing the parameter will pass
Yeah.
actual value.
Okay. No keyword. No keyword. No keyword. Here 2. Ref keyword.
Keyword.
Here 2. What keyword?
Out keyword. Out keyword.
Third point. Third point is third point.
Passing the parameters will pass actual value.
Yeah.
Actual parameter should be initialized.
Yeah. Third. What is third one?
Passing the value.
Will pass actual value when passing the parameters.
Yeah. Yes. Third one is what is third one?
We need to pass actual value.
Passing actual value. Here. Third one. Third one. What is that? Passing
Address of the value.
Address of the value. Here. Passing address of the
Value.
address of the value. And fourth point is passing actual value, passing address of the value, passing address of the value. Right. Next, fourth one is what?
Actual parameters need to be initialized.
Yeah. Parameter should be initialized. Parameter should be initialized. Here also should be
Initialized.
Should be initialized. Right. Fourth point is
Not
not required to initialize. Not required to initialize. Out parameter is not required to initialize. When we will go for call by value, right here, when we will go for wherever noise is there, why you want unmute? What is the use of unmute? If the noise is there, whenever you are unable to sit in a silent place, better to unmute, better to mute yourself, right? Whenever you want to answer, that time you can unmute, right? When we will go for call by reference, right? Next, when we will go for call by out. Okay, when we will pass a parameter as a value parameter, when we will pass a parameter as a ref parameter, when we will pass a parameter as a out parameter. Very simple. I'll give you some small generalized example here. For example, you are going to a function. While you are going to a function, you are going with a gift, and you are going with one gift, but they didn't give any return gift. You are coming with empty hands. Means you are passing the parameter with some value, but at the time of returning back, it's not reflecting back. That is call by value. Going with a gift but coming with empty hands. Call by reference. You are going to a function, going with some gift, and you attended the function. They have given some return gift. You are returning back with some return gift. So when you are passing a parameter with some value and it will reflect back with some value. That is call by reference. Call by out. You didn't go with any value. You went to the function with empty hands, but you are coming with a return gift. It is reflected back. The value is reflected back here. That is call by out. Okay. Now come back to here. Answer is when we will go for call by value. Whenever we want to pass a parameter with some value, but modifications you are not expecting to reflect back. Whenever we want to pass some value to a function, want to pass some value to a function, want to pass some value to the function, but modifications are not expecting to reflect back. We can pass that parameter as a what parameter? that parameter, we can pass it as a what parameter?
Call by value.
Call by
Call by
value.
value.
Call by value. When we will pass, when we will go for call by reference. Come on. Whenever we want to
the value.
a parameter with some value, but you want to reflect back. You are expecting to modification should be reflected back. You want to pass a parameter with some value. It should come back with reflection values. Then we'll pass that particular parameter as a what parameter?
Call by reference.
Reference. When we will go for call by out. Whenever we want to pass a parameter with parameter with no value, but it should reflect back with what values? Some modified values. We'll pass it as what parameter?
Call by out.
Call by out parameter. Call by out parameter. Sami, you tell me when we'll go for call by value?
Whenever you want to pass whenever you want to pass the value to a function and that passed value modification should not be reflect back to actual value, then we go for call by value.
Call by value. Now again, Sukanya, tell me when we'll go for call by value?
When we are passing parameters to a function with some value and we don't expect to it to reflect any modified value to the parameter, we are going for call by value.
When we will go for call by reference, right, Prudvi?
When we will go for when we will give some value and when we are expecting some value back, then we will go to call by reference.
Whenever we want to pass a value with some parameter, and whenever we want to pass a value, but with the help of parameter, and modification should be reflected back, expecting to reflect back the modifications. We'll pass it as a what parameter?
Call by reference.
Ref parameter. And when we will go for call by out? Soumya, when we will go for call by out?
Sorry, can I?
When, come on.
Whenever we doesn't need to pass any value, but we expect from the output some modified value, we go for call by out.
Whenever we want to pass a parameter with no value, but the modification should be reflected back to actual parameter, then we will pass it as a what parameter? Out parameter. Again, I am repeating differences between call by value, call by reference, call by out. Number one, actual parameter modifications, formal parameter modifications will not be reflected, will be reflected. No keyword, ref keyword, out keyword. Passing value at the time of with the parameter will pass actual value, passing address of the value, Parameter should be initialized, not required initialized. When we will go for call by value, whenever we want to pass some value to the function, and that passed value, whenever we want to pass some value to the function, and that modification, function modifications not required to reflect back, we'll pass it as a value, call by value parameter. If whenever we want to pass some value to the function, that function parameter modification should be reflected back, we will pass it as a ref parameter. Whenever we want to pass, when we will go for call by out, whenever we don't want to pass any value to a function, but that function modification should be reflected back to this passed parameter, then we will pass it as a out parameter. Okay, so this is about passing parameter mechanism. Next, tomorrow concept is property. Tomorrow properties will be over. Day after tomorrow, we'll start a concept called oops principles. 4 principles we have to understand. Once properties and oops principles are completed, I'm sure next we will enter into remaining C#. And the second thing is, interview homework is on interview questions. From which question to which question you prepared that time?
Sir, I have a question regarding this topic, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, it looks like we can use call by out and we don't have to use call by reference. I mean, call by out can also serve the same functionality as call by reference. So when we should go for call by reference?
No,
we can
no.
do the same with call by.
No. There is a lot of difference between reference and out, because reference means you are passing some value to that function and those modifications are reflecting back. Out means you are not passing any value. You will have some requirement. In that requirement, you don't require to pass any value, but the modifications are reflecting back.
Sir, can't we pass a value to out? Is it not required or we cannot pass it?
You cannot pass. Even though you pass also, it will not consider. You can observe.
Okay.
Suppose here you passed some value called 200. 200 means you passed 200, and 200 means here you are telling that total fee plus. It will give an error. You can't pass.
Okay.
You can't pass. It is not possible. That's why. That is the main difference between ref and out.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to pass, then go for ref. Don't want to pass, go with out. I am using out, again I will pass a value, means it is giving a error. You trying to pass some value, observe, you trying to pass some value, 200 you passed. If you are passing, see, you are passing and you are doing what? Modification. Whenever you are doing modification means you have to add like this. Yes or no? Existing value and new values. Existing value, new values. Then it's giving what? Error. It is giving error. What is error? It's giving, you see, use of unassigned parameter. It's taking as unassigned parameter. Are you clear? Suppose I'm passing value, I'm not using here, means it is doing what you can see, you can observe. It is not considering your past value because it is overwrite. That's the reason what I'm telling you. Whatever value you are passing, initializing to your out parameter before passing will not be considerable. It should not pass. Okay, it should be empty parameter. Okay, right. Next, what I am asking you, oops, interview questions from 22, question number 22, up to
46 was the last answer.
okay, fine. Even though in interview question bank, in oops, first question is 20th or 21. Now, what is class? What is object? Question number
22, sir.
22 is the first question, right? 22 to passing parameter questions. You have passing parameter question numbers. I didn't see what from where. Can you check?
47, sir.
47.
Then 22 to 47.
Yes.
22 to 47 questions. You prepare and you write the questions, typed questions, take a printout and write the answers without seeing the book. You do what? 22 to 47 is your exam and you prepare for some time. Then you take all the questions on one book, one paper, like take a printout, space for every question, and it is your question paper. You are preparing your question paper, 22 to 47 questions you prepare. For every question you leave some line, 3 line, 4 line, 5 line space, and after you taken a printout, close your laptop, close your books, and keep some time for that exam and write all the answers. Try to recall with your own handwritten answers. Answers should be handwritten. That copy you scan and send to me. It is an exam for you. Okay, na? Self exam. Okay, thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a topic called properties. Okay, guys. Bye to all. The